I sure do miss my bubbles. What is stickers? Nope. Effects picker. What's this? Oh, no more bubbles. Makeup. Lenses. Eh, nothing. What is stickers? Oh, a poll. Let's take a poll. We have some uh, should we have some sort of Beasley roasting service? Um, um, let him roast and be done with. Okay. Huh. Hey, the Vegas sector, how you doing? Thank you for coming in. Did you know Beasley? I am just exploring these features. I'm getting ready to do a green screen picture of something. Um, yeah, we'll do that. All right. Good to see you, Oilina. He said, not allowed to catch you alive. Thank you. Appreciate you. How's it going over there? What's the latest with Manny? My goodness, what a tragedy from heck. So sad. I still can't believe that. Oh, hello everybody. Welcome to Madawhipass After Dark. Um, I just got some time to go live and I really didn't have a particular topic. And so as I was playing around with these features, I decided to do a poll. And the poll is, should we have some sort of Beasley roasting service? Tentative for tomorrow. Yes, no, or should we just let them roast in Hades and forget about it? Jesus loves you all. He died for our sins so that we may be in heaven with him. All righty. Then you should come and participate in roasting the devil. How about that? Yeah. Court February 19th was still in the status check trial readiness stage. Oh, he switched attorneys? Man, I can guarantee you that if Manny got Jose Baez, that attorney, Jose Baez probably can get him off, or at least reduce it to the point where he won't get double life, you know. Because if we're going to be honest, all of those involved played a part in this, you know. All involved had a role in the tragic outcome. You know, nobody is completely innocent. You know, I just wish Finney was more well versed in online bullshit. He just didn't seem to take Manny serious, and which lends itself for me. What I want to say is, they say Finney was a gangbanger, and I just find that hard to believe. You know, when you're a gangbanger, you have some sort of street sense and street smarts, and I just didn't see it for Finney. I mean, he should have been a lot more wise. I wish he was, for he and his wife, you know. But I just wish he knew better, you know. People have to be able to see stuff. In other words, have discernment. And I was just stating in a prior video about this dude here that you see on the screen. If you're not distracting me, if you're going to mess with people, know who you messing with. You know, there's people out here antagonizing, bullying, disrupting, targeting certain individuals, and they don't know who they're messing with. You know, Finney was out here playing around, but man, he was serious. People out here doing stuff to people and think it's all fun and games, and it's not real life because it's online. And that's a concept I never understood, because I'm a real person talking to you. I'm not AI. And people have been espousing this concept before there ever was an AI. That online ain't real life. And unfortunately, it got real When they realized that it was real life, it was too late. Even for Manny. It's unfortunate what people do out here in these YouTube streets, thinking this is la la land. No. A human being is typing in this chat right now. A human being is talking to you. And human beings can take your life for shit you said or been doing online where you thought it wasn't real life. You can't make people lose what they have in terms of demonetizing them or calling their actual work of place of employment, getting them terminated, all types of stuff. Just like this guy you see on the screen. You can't do stuff like that to people and just be like, la 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 la, I'm going on with my life. La 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 la. Like there will never be any consequences for your actions and behaviors because what you were doing to an individual, you did it online, and online ain't real life. Is that what you call cognitive dissonance? Dissonance? I think it is. It's weird to think that you can affect somebody's living, their life, how they feed their children, and think because you never seen them and you're doing it online that's it. I don't know. The internet and the computer has done some weird shit on so many levels. Growing up a kid in the 70s and the 60s and even the 80s, but let's talk about being a kid in the 70s. I mean, it saddens me when kids today will never know what freedom as a kid is like. Kids in the 70s had so much freedom. And maybe that wasn't a good thing. I kind of think it was. Kind of. I mean, the things that we did, I would never allow kids to do today, and that's unfortunate. But in the summertime or the weekends, our parents kicked us out the house by 10 o'clock in the morning and were told not to come back until the street lights came on. We had our bikes, we'd be riding across town, all types of stuff, exploring, going to visit friends. There were no cell phones. There were pay phones. There were house phones. All day, our parents had no idea where we were or what we were doing. Well, no, I can't say that. You know what the internet was in the 70s? Neighbors. Now, you had freedom and you was out there, but if you was cutting up, your neighbors will call your mother. And when you got home, your mother checked you for it, your parents. And depending on what it was, you are under punishment. Bigger than that, if you was out there cutting up really bad, your neighbors whooped your ass. And then they called your mama and told them what you did and why they had to whoop your ass. And then they would send you home to an ass whooping from your mama. That was the internet in the 70s. But outside of that, if you were respectful and you wasn't doing anything criminal or super dangerous, you had all the freedom. Now, play dates are scheduled with kids. Oh, you can have a play date on Saturday. And then when you get to your play date, you got to text your mother the names of everybody who's there. So I hear. I don't see kids riding bikes. And if I do, they're wearing helmets. You're just making kids out to be a whole bunch of wussies. We never had a helmet. You know how many times we fell off a bike, scraped our knees? You went home, your mother put some iodine on it, cleaned it out, put some iodine on it, and patched it up. Now go back outside and play. How many times we fell out of trees? When I think about the 70s in Brooklyn, in the Bronx, there used to be so many abandoned buildings in Brooklyn and the Bronx. And next to these abandoned buildings used to be just an empty lot that was just full of trash. Dog shit, broken glass bottles. Because, sodas and drinks were in glass in those days. So it'd be broken glass bottles, dirty mattresses, tires, all the diapers. And them kids in Brooklyn be playing in that dirty lot, flipping on dirty mattresses, like Lauryn Hill's song. I forgot which one of those songs. So she's talking about flipping on dirty mattresses. That shit was real. And we survived. We survived riding in cars as babies and little kids and didn't have car seats. Car seats came into fruition in the 80s. Prior to that, shoot, my sister would tell you, my mother said, well, when you was a baby, because remember, we got bucket seats in cars now. But in the 70s, there was just one seat going across in the front. There was no bucket seats. So you just lay your newborn baby on the seat. And if you stop short, of course, you put your hand out, try to keep the baby on the seat. A lot of times, baby fell on the floor in the car. And you just pick the baby up and lay the baby right back on the seat. And the baby survived. Craziness. I remember my mother used to go to the dog races. You couldn't take children into the dog races. So she would leave us in the car in the parking lot for about 4 hours. I'm talking about kids with the window cracked. And by the time she came out, we was all outside the car because it's too hot in the car. But she wasn't the only parent. That's what they did. And we survived. And when we played hard. And in all that play, we learned how to get along. We learned how to resolve conflicts. We develop bonds, lifelong bonds, lifelong friendships. I'm just telling you about my experience. I'm very good friends with individuals I've known. We've known each other since kindergarten. We are knocking the hell out of 60 years old. We went through all stages of life: preteens, teenage years, young adults, getting married, some getting divorced, having kids. And now we pushing into the retirement age, doing it together our whole lives. You know how many people I meet and they can't remember anybody from their elementary school? That shit is weird to me. Man, me and William, the guy that was on the phone, Beezy's cousin's best friend, shoot, he's known me since I was 4 years old. We were in the same elementary school, Catholic school. He's like 4 years older than me. He's also good friends with my brother. Childhood friends from elementary school, Catholic school. You know? It is what it is. I'm looking at the poll. 80% said yes, 20% said let them roast in Hades. Not one person said no yet. All right, I'm going to give y'all what y'all want now. I'm going to give you what you want. But now, I said all that to say about the internet. Man, I see why people don't want their children with all that freedom that we had growing up. Because it's just weird out here. And it's like, they snatching kids off the street, da da da. I think they snatching kids more off the internet. Don't you? I think more kids are getting snatched from the internet by strangers that they can't see than kids that were snatched off the street by strangers they did see. These kids don't go out and play because they're always on the internet, whether it's their cell phones, whether they're on the internet through these gaming systems. And these gaming systems, as well as the internet, is a playground for predators and pedophiles. I just read last week there were two girls in Florida, sisters, like 14 and 15. Some man all the way from Nebraska, whoever lives in Nebraska, came all the way to Florida and snatched up these two sisters. And they found the girls in Georgia. All from the internet. So do you see how much more pedophiles have access to your kid than we did as children, running the streets and the parents didn't even know where we were until the street lights came on? In my childhood, no pedophile from Nebraska could have scooped up a kid all the way in Florida. Not unless he moved from Nebraska to Florida in the area and was living there. But just to get in your car and drive across the country to a specific kid? No. So I'm thinking kids who are constantly on these gaming systems and the internet, social media, are more that word, susceptible to being abducted than us in our childhood running the streets all day. From 10 in the morning till the street lights came on. Hello. Somebody is speaking in Arabic. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Please hit the like button. Thank you. Listen, I am so glad that I don't have any children in this day and age, especially teenagers. I think my kids will probably hate me because none of them would have smartphones. They'll have flip phones if they have a phone at all. They'll have the regular flip phone where all you can do is dial. And then I think, well, how's that going to help them? Because they're going to be around a bunch of friends that have smartphones. And they'll just use their smartphone. Well, okay. You can't be around your kids 100%. They got to be in school and their extracurricular activities or whatever. But they won't be doing that shit at home. Will they be able to have a gaming system? Yeah, but don't you have to pay for them to be able to play online with others? They wouldn't be able to do that. No. Nope. Um, would I or should I? Would I have to bend at some point? Well, I just have to get a little. If I feel that I'd have to give a little, well, then it will be a certain day and time where they can do online gaming where I'm sitting there watching. Or someone is supervising. Is that unrealistic? I mean, is that a possible thing to do? You know, is it unrealistic because I don't have kids in this day and age? I see that, the internet has implemented a lot of parental controls, but I don't see that they're working well. There's another case, I think it was from the end of January. There's a boy who was 15, lived in Stony Brook, Long Island, had never been to Manhattan, Asian kid, super smart. He's been missing since like the end of January. His Asian mother has been pleading. They still believe that he's alive. They know that he got on the LIRR and went to Manhattan. And they know that he met up with somebody that he met from, what's that? Roblox? That game is a game, Roblox. I never heard of it. But Roblox is under fire because a lot of kids are being abducted from this game Roblox. They say his last week I was watching this interview, and it was current last week, and the mother was saying that uh, his phone was last pinged like 5 days prior to that interview, somewhere by the Manhattan Bridge. He's probably being pimped out to men. I mean, a good Asian kid. Why wouldn't he want to come back home? Because he can't, for whatever reason. So, again, this particular Asian mother, and he has a father as well, they did all the right things with these parental controls. Oh, and she said that, when he went missing, she realized, you know, she had parental controls for this email account for this Roblox thing. But she discovered that he like had 4 or 5 other email addresses with passwords for Roblox that she had no idea about until it was too late. So this shit is so scary to me, and I don't have kids. If I had kids, I'd be a nervous wreck. And I think my kids would hate me because I wouldn't want them to do anything. And you can't be like that. Can we live life today without Wi-Fi and the internet? Is that possible? Do you think you can go back to a landline phone, which will be $25 a month, if that much? Now, you may not want to go back to that, but I'm talking about if you thought it was necessary, could you? Could you live life without Wi-Fi? Could you live life without a cell phone? Is that possible for you? I think if I had kids, I would be Wi-Fi less at home. They would have to find other things to do with their time instead of being on the internet. Like read a book, play board games, jacks, play jacks. Do kids even know what jacks are? That used to be so much fun. Ride a bike. There's way more interesting things to do than scrolling. And maybe we should check our own habits, our own internet habits. You know what I started doing? When I'm off, I try not to be online after 10 o'clock. I've learned how to set my phone that my phone shuts down, goes in sleep mode, where I don't get no calls, I don't get on the internet. Because I found myself just scrolling. Waking up in the middle of the night, nothing to do, pick up your phone, scroll. No, shut the phone down. And it has helped me to sleep more through the night. So maybe we should check and uh, check out our own internet habits. I see now that there's a movement where people want to go to a record store and buy albums and CDs and go to bookstores and buy books. I don't like reading books online. I want a book in my hand where I'm turning pages. I don't want my whole life to be connected to a cell phone. Right now, I need to replace my double oven because somebody made rum cake around the Christmas holiday and blew up my fucking oven. So I'm in the market for a double oven for my kitchen. And it's Wi-Fi shit, internet shit. I don't need to control my oven from my cell phone. I don't want to control my washer and dryer from my cell phone. It's not necessary. And if your appliances are hooked up to Wi-Fi, that lends itself for the company to zap your shit when they get ready so you can buy a new one. Come on now. Why does our whole life have to be connected to Wi-Fi and the internet? I don't want that. These new appliances, refrigerator, Wi-Fi, why? And now that we're talking about appliances, if you are ever in the market for an appliance, refrigerators, dishwasher, that type of stuff, I'm going to tell you, don't buy a Samsung, don't buy LG. Samsung needs to stick to cell phones and televisions. Don't buy their freaking refrigerators or nothing else. They're garbage. Whereas you would buy an appliance and this shit will last you 20, 30 years. These Samsungs, LGs, all this Wi-Fi computer shit. When you buy a laptop or a desktop, how long does your computer last you? 4 or 5 years. Well, it's the same thing with refrigerators and dishwashers and any appliance that has computers in it that you need to hook up to Wi-Fi. That shit is only going to last you 5 to 8 years. And I mean, when you first purchase it, it's going to be $2,000, $3,000. You mean to tell me that when you have to replace it again in another 8 years, because that's what you're going to do, you're not going to get it fixed. You want to know why you're not going to get it repaired? Because it's going to cost you just as much to repair it as it will for you to buy a new one in 5 to 8 years. It's crazy. Why do I need to access the internet on the door of my refrigerator? Really, is that necessary? I don't want my house to be smart. You buying a newly built, new construction smart house. Everything is Wi-Fi. Don't ever do that. Why? Doesn't the internet change? Software changes. The internet and software is so much different than 3 years ago. You buy a smart house, all that software is going to be obsolete within 2 to 3 years, leaving your home vulnerable for hackers. We don't need everything to be Wi-Fi, especially with these wicked companies. Look, be in your smart car, your smart home. But let's stick to the car. Sit in your car and talk about you just came into thousands of dollars. Watch something on your car break that's going to cost you thousands of dollars. They heard you and they broke your shit. Oh, y'all ain't trying to hear me. You think I'm nuts, right? Okay, all right. How many times you was on the phone, or not even on the phone, and you talk about um, bowling? How you would like to go back and start going bowling again, and how you had so much fun when you used to bowl, and the first bowling ball you ever bought, and the bowling league you were on, and how next thing you know, you're getting all types of advertisements for bowling balls and bowling leagues. So you don't think when you sitting in your smart car talking about some money you got that the car doesn't hear you and send information back, and the company zaps something in your car so they can get that money out of you? Okay, you ain't gotta listen to me. Hey, what do I know? What do I know? All right, I think I have ranted long enough. I have 12 votes, 50% for this poll. Should we have some sort of Beasley roasting service? 58% said yes, 25% said no, 17% said let them roast in Hades. Still, 58% says yes. Notice it won't be a celebration of death. I think that's just too harsh. But I think he deserves a good Hades going roast. No harm in that, right? Or is there? Or is there? You know, we're not celebrating, we're just roasting. Yeah, no, I don't know. If you haven't taken the poll, take the poll. And please hit the like button if you haven't done that. But anyway, that's all I wanted to talk about. I really didn't have anything specific or a topic, but I hope what I said got you to think. And if you have kids, maybe you can think of some things you might need to do as a parent to probably curb their screen time. Maybe monitor them a lot more than you have been. Maybe implementing the parental controls. I don't know. I can't tell you. Only you know where you're lacking at when it comes to your kids and the internet. And if you need to tighten up, I pray that you tighten up because I want you and your children to be safe. The internet is it can be a positive thing, but I think it's more dangerous than positive in this particular point in time. All right. Thank you for tuning in, and I hope I was able to help somebody. Gotta go. Peace.